Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Muscogee County Coaches Show right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We do this every other week. We actually do it the opposite week of office hours. Speaking of office hours, my first guest is part of office hours. Real life of an athletics director, is also the assistant athletic director of the Columbus Blue Devils and the cross-country coach. Please welcome to the show, Coach Danielle McCoy.
Hello.
Coach, glad to have you on the Muscogee County Coaches Show, as you are part of office hours, along with the Hardaway AD, Coach Kendall Mills, Coach Joe Kegler, Coach Anson Hunley. It seems like you guys have a lot of fun on that show.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy the episodes.
Yes.
But
we have a lot of fun.
You guys really do have a lot of fun. I really love it, especially when out of the four schools, Columbus, Spencer, Carver, and Hardaway, anytime you guys play each other in sports, I always make reference to office hours.
Yes.
We had you up in the broadcast booth when Spencer played Columbus in football, and it was cool to see Coach Joe Kegler on the sidelines for Spencer, and you were up there in the booth, and it's like, yeah, we always got to throw it back to office hours. But I think that what you guys are doing is incredible, and it's really informative. Just talk about how that came to be. I know that you have a pretty good relationship with the ADs in Muscogee County. Just talk about how office hours got started.
We were actually at a conference last summer. I think it was like in May, towards the end of the school year. We had been at lunch and we were kind of talking about some things. And then the idea was like, hey, why don't we kind of get together to talk about some of the things that athletic directors have to do, because, you have a lot of misconceptions or just things that they don't really take into consideration or know. So trying to give people some insight into the things that we deal with on a daily basis as ADs, but also that relationship with coaching and working with each other. So we just really wanted to educate the public on all the things that go into our roles.
All right, Coach. Not only are you the assistant athletic director for Columbus High, you are also the cross-country coach. Yes. Had a big state meet over the weekend. Your runners picked up some hardware. Just talk about the success that your runners had in the state meet, and what really went into a long cross-country season just preparing for that state meet.
This is definitely a long season. This year, GHSA pushed the state meet back a week. So one of the complications that comes with that is making sure that everybody is healthy enough to compete at the state meet, because state meet is hard, tough competition, and the course is even tougher. So a lot of what went into the season was just making sure, keeping an eye on that date, monitoring the mileage of the runners, making sure we're not running too much or not doing enough. So trying to find that healthy balance of making sure that we're still pushing them so that they can be successful at the state meet, but also not pushing them too hard that there are injuries that may occur.
And some runners I want to give acknowledgement here on the show. Olivia DiQuattro, Alana Gilbert, who's playing in a basketball game tonight against Smith Station,
right,
and Gabby Ware. Those were some names that came out. Were there any other runners that you want to take notice that actually had a good season?
Those particular individuals did place at state. So Gabby came in 6th place, Alina came in 5th place, and Olivia came in 1st place at state. But just the girls team overall, they've had a great season. Haley Hurd, Emily Dale, Waylon Campbell, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. Oh my goodness, and they're gonna be so mad at me. But the girls team overall, and I'm trying to think of who it is that I'm forgetting. Alina, Gabby, Olivia, Kelby Mills is the other runner that I was forgetting. But all the girls this season, they've worked well together, making sure they have that team camaraderie and just encouraging each other, because like you said earlier, the season is long. So the girls had a great season, won region, and came in second in the sectional meet, which was the first for GHSA. And the boys also had a great season this year. They finished ninth in state, which is an improvement from last year where they finished 12th, and the boys also won the region meet as well.
Coach, let's talk about your winter sports. The football season, they did double their win total, going from 1 to 2. It was Coach Robert Peters' first season. He was a longtime assistant under Coach Phil Marino. I thought that the football team showed some great improvements. I thought that Grant Garinger is only a sophomore. I mean, he was their leading rusher. I liked how Coach Peters implemented Andrew Smith in at quarterback along with Carlton Spivey. So you have Drew Spivey and Andrew Smith, both the interchangeable quarterbacks. It wasn't the season that you wanted, I mean, because you didn't make the playoffs, but just talk about the winter sports, the volleyball team making it to the Final Four. You had the softball team that was on the cusp of getting to the state playoffs. Just talk about the successes that you've had in the winter sports and what you're looking forward to with the fall sports and what you are looking forward to with the upcoming winter sports.
That's correct. Like you said, volleyball made it to the Final Four, had a hard fought game there, trying to get it to that championship game. They had a great season. Softball team, same thing, made it to the Sweet 16. And we're just hoping to improve on that for the next year. Football, even though, like you said, we didn't make that run that we were hoping to see, but the record doesn't really reflect the successes that the team had. Coach Peters has done a great job with taking over that program from Coach Marino. And when we sit down and we look at the statistics from last year to this year, we actually do see some improvements that, again, aren't reflected in that record. So as long as we keep showing growth in the small areas, eventually you'll be able to see those big gains.
And by the way, by the time this airs, the Columbus basketball teams will have faced Smith Station at home as that took place on Tuesday night. But the Columbus basketball team, led by first-year coach Terrence Hill, who was part of that 2007 Jordan State Championship run, and they are off to a good start. They defeated Harris County over the weekend. Just talk about what Coach Hill and Coach Adams has done helping build the Columbus basketball teams. The Columbus Blue Devils making the playoffs for the first time since in 25 years. But they lost a lot of players from that playoff team. They're in a new region. Coach Adams improving from 5 wins to 9 wins. And like you mentioned, she's got majority of her team coming back and as they get ready for just an incredible season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the girls do as Coach Adams continues to improve on each season. Every year she's getting better and better, and that's what we like to see. Coach Hill coming in. This is his first year here at Columbus High School, and I wasn't at the game on Friday night because I was prepping for the cross-country meet on Saturday, but I've heard that they played a great game. It was well executed. They came out with that scrimmage with a win. So looking to see how they open up things tonight here at home against Miss Station.
And by the way, next week, the Columbus Blue Devils and Lady Blue Devils will be at home against Brookstone. Yes. That's a big rivalry. And then they take on Calvary Christian next Friday night. I can't wait for these games. I'm really looking forward to some of these matchups, especially when you get into region play as well. Taking on Russell County. Of course, you got Northside. That's also a big rivalry. Let's go ahead and throw it back to, it is a fall sport, but it's also kind of a winter sport. Girls flag football. Yes. I mean, what a job that Coach Olson has done. We have live streamed several of the girls flag football games. Serenity Hickman and Alexandria Lofton just might be the best quarterback receiver combo in the state. I mean,
that is a great duo.
They have really been putting on a show. We saw them just continue to dominate in their region. They got a huge showdown in a couple of weeks against Harris County. It might be for the region, but I think what Coach Olson's doing, I think that they could build off of their success and get to a state championship.
Yeah. Coach Greer has had a successful season since he's taken over not even taken over. He was the first one to kind of get everything going here. And he's been in the role as the head coach since flag football's inception. And the passion that he has is just so contagious. The girls buy into what he's got going on. And I'm really excited to see how their season progresses. They're about midway through the season. So we're hoping that they can go ahead and win that region championship and get going on a state run.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Coach Greer. I know I called him Coach Olson, but yeah, Coach Christian Greer, which I've had him on the Muscogee County Coaches Show before. They are 15-5, 7-0 in region play as they get ready for a tri-match this Wednesday against LaGrange and Kendrick, and then wrapping up the season, which, by the way, we will have on Georgia Alabama Sports Live next week, Monday. It's going to be, I believe it's at Kinnett Stadium or Otis Spencer. It's a tri-match between Spencer, Harris County, and Columbus. We expect to have that tri-match right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Looking forward to it. All right, let's go ahead and move on, Coach. So with the cross-country season ended, are there any other sports that you coach, or is now your time going to be focused on assistant athletic director duties?
I also help out with track. So we'll probably have our interest meeting coming up here in the next few weeks for that. And be working on some winter workouts, trying to transition into the spring sports. So really right now this week, kind of taking a break, looking at basketball, looking at wrestling, those winter sports, and seeing kind of if they need any help with anything that they have going on right now. So like you said, focusing on some of those assistant AD duties that might come up over the next few weeks, and also helping the spring sport coaches as they work on finalizing their schedules and just the logistics of what they need to get ready, because all of your spring sports are now probably having their interest meetings and working on preseason conditioning and things like that. So helping them with that, but also personally just transitioning, trying to get ready for spring sports, specifically track for me.
Well, spring sports is going to be here before you know it. I mean, we know the success that Columbus has had in baseball and in soccer, in a very unique school that actually has lacrosse as well. I mean, we're hoping to live stream all those games for Columbus, but I'm really just appreciative of everything that you've done, Coach, not just for Georgia Alabama Sports Live being a part of office hours, but also all your duties and responsibilities that you have at Columbus High. And we wish all the teams nothing but the best of luck this upcoming season.
Thank you for all the support and encouragement and everything that you all do to help promote sports, not just here at Columbus High School, but for this district as well.
Absolutely. That is Coach Danielle McCoy, the cross-country head coach, and also the assistant athletic director of Columbus High. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to have some more coaches coming up here on the Muscogee County Coaches Show. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Introducing Gatorade Water. Everybody. Alkaline and electrolyte infused for great taste. Everybody. Gatorade Water, always in motion.
Welcome back to the Muscogee County Coaches Show right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. My next coach is, well, he's a coach of a lot of teams at Spencer High School. He is the flag football coach. He is the boys basketball coach. He is also the boys soccer coach. Please welcome to the Muscogee County Coaches Show, Coach Quantavius Allen. And also, Coach, you also the assistant athletic director. Is that right, Coach?
That's correct.
That's a lot of responsibilities. I mean, right now, you're in the girls flag football season, having a good season so far, 4-2 on the season. By the way, we plan on live streaming another Spencer flag football game, that tri-match against Columbus and Harris County next week. You'll catch that on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So talk about just that balancing out the two seasons that are kind of jammed together, because you got basketball season just around the corner. We had basketball media days. I mean, and now you're coaching flag football. Just talk about just making that transition from flag football to basketball.
I mean, after a while, you get used to it. I know this is my first year doing flag football, but I had been doing it for a while with soccer and basketball. So this year was just really trying to get used to the flag football. So as far as practice schedule. We normally practice right after school for flag football, and then we practice after the girls for basketball. So I'm able to leave flag football practice and go directly to basketball. But the good thing is having good coaches by your side as well, and in all sports. So for flag football, we have some really good coaches. So anytime I do have to do anything for basketball, like today, we're playing Calvary for a scrimmage game. So the coaches, like, they really help out a lot with flag football. And the same thing for basketball. We got really good coaching staff. So if I have any flag football games going on where I can't make basketball practice, then they just kind of take over everything. So having good coaches by your side is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to see the flag football team. You've looked pretty good. Had some big wins. Got a big win over Northside, 4-2 on the season. Nadia Keene is the leading receiver and rusher. Just talk about what it means to have a player like Nadia Keene on your team that is also leading the team with 3 touchdowns.
It's been a good season. I know the past 3 years it had been rocky. So the thing was, we were trying to just change their mindset. I think they start kind of developing that losing mentality. So coming in, it was just trying to change the work ethic, changing some of the girls' position, just honestly getting them to believe. So now we have a lot of girls, like, they really invest a lot of time in watching film. They invest, like, they take practice serious. And now we have a lot of girls that are actually starting to get offers for flag football, and a lot getting interest. So now they see, oh, like, we really can do this. We really believe, like, we really can compete. Nadia King is, a tremendous athlete, but it's a team effort, and I always stress that, like, we've been buying into defense. Our defense has been doing a really good job. We have Danielle Jones, who has 3 offers right now to play flag football, high GPA, and like you mentioned, Nadia on offense. And the good thing is people don't realize how young we are this year as well. Like, we have a really young group. Our quarterback, Nia Owens, is a freshman, and a lot of people kind of overlook that. Our rusher is a freshman, so our wide receiver is a freshman. Like, we have a really young team, but just seeing them buy in is saying a lot. So I think that now the flag football program is really headed in the right direction. And you can't thank Miss McDaniel and Coach Mobley enough as well. Like, they do a really good job assisting. Like I said, if anything is going on with basketball, I have to miss. But, like, we've just been doing a really good job preparing them for this season. And we're in a very tough region as well, with some really good teams, as you mentioned, next week with Harris County and Columbus. Like, those are really good teams, and Northside is a really good team. Like, so all of the teams in our region are very competitive, but we just want to compete as well, and just try to get better.
In fact, you have a very big tri match is actually happening while this show is airing against Jordan and Carver. I think that this could be a very important tri match to try to boost your position and in the area as far as trying to get a offer. It's wish the best of luck to you, Coach, on that.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about basketball. Of course, we all remember the 2022 state championship team that went 30-2. I remember watching this. I wasn't covering sports as much as I'm doing right now in 2022, but I actually listened to the state championship against Westover. that team was stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson,
yes.
Danielle, Joe Dozier, you had Baron Moody. This team, you take that team, and I know that, like, when you return to Spencer, because you did take some time off, went to go to Coach Stone, coming back to Spencer and trying to build your philosophy in the way you want your players to play basketball. What are some of the takeaways from that state championship team, and what will it take to try to get Spencer back to that level?
Well, I believe right now, basketball-wise, Spencer is always going to have that winning mindset. I think every year we're going to be looked at to be a state competitor and compete every year. But I mean, that group with Tyson McDaniel and, like you said, Moody, Ryan Mobley, like Jalen Drake, like that group was special. So we had a very talented group with them. And coming back from Brookstone to Spencer, of course, when I came back, that group was graduating. So you look at about 8 seniors graduating, and then Tony Montgomery transferred over to Carver. So now Spencer's kind of looked at, oh, it's about to be a rebuilding season. But when coming back, I told my guys, like, hey, we're still going to find a way to win. We have to figure it out. We have to be more coachable. We have to be just a little bit smarter at what we do, because we're not as long as we were in the past, like you mentioned, the state championship team. And honestly, we're not as athletic as that group was. So we have to be smarter. So that group, the group we had last year, and they could have easily been overlooked. Like I say, Gary Gaither was a tremendous athlete. He probably had IQ wise, probably one of the best athletes I've coached. Keyshawn Sampson, Joe Dozier. We still had DeMarcus Horn, and then Dre Duncan. Those were just some of the returners. But then you have to start easing those younger guys up that has no experience and try to get them to play catch up quick. And then we had to start some games with some freshmen and get a lot of playing time out of our freshmen. And then like I said, Kerry Griffin gave us a lot of minutes off the bench last year, but no varsity experience before that. But he stepped up. He accepted the challenge. And so we're just doing the same thing now. We lost 3 first-team all-region player of the year, defensive player of the year last year. So now it's the same thing. Like we have to figure out a way to try to win in a very competitive region, but we're not going to make any excuses. Of course, you're going to have to deal with the injuries. You're going to have to deal with losing key players every year. But it's just that mindset that we have right now is we're going to try to find a way to win, and we're just going to go out and compete.
Yeah, one of the things I really enjoyed about last year's team, Coach, was those battles with Southwest. It seemed like every single game against Southwest went down to the wire. You won the region, got to host the region tournament, and we just happened to be there for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. That championship game against Southwest was absolutely phenomenal. It was just a great championship. Lost in the second round, but I know that that's not the way you wanted to end the season last year, but I know that that's something you want to build off of. Now that you're in a new reclassification, a new region, you're considered one of the favorites in this region, along with Carver, that went to the Final Four last year in 3A. Just talking about the new region and getting to face all these schools in Columbus and not having to travel as much to Macon, like last year, having to face a Southwest or a Rutland or a Central Macon.
Oh, yeah. So the traveling last year, it was draining, having to go to Macon 5 times to play teams in your region, because the only other teams in our region that were close to us last year were Kendrick and Jordan. I know you mentioned Southwest, and Southwest was a really good program. They had 4 Division I basketball athletes in their program. So, I mean, we just enjoyed competing against them. But this year, we tried to strategize a little bit. We tried to make the schedule this year, non-region wise, was based on trying to get some exposure. We want to put our guys in front of college coaches. We want to try to get them to the next level. So we did make the schedule very competitive, non-region wise. And again, we're in a very tough region, but it is good to be in Columbus playing. It helps a lot with traveling, especially with these student athletes having to go into school the next day. They're not being too tired, because again, we have to look at their academics as well. So we don't like them going to school, being sleepy in class or anything. But again, there's some really good teams in our region. I know you mentioned Carver, who's right now number 2 in the state. A lot of teams, again, they look past Sumter County, who's really good, won region last year, as well as, Kendrick is going to be good this year. We know that Shaw is going to compete. Like, every team in our region is going to compete. But I think the biggest thing to factor in this year is going to be this new GHSA power ranking. So I know everyone is still trying to figure it out, but it changes a lot up, because one thing is the way that it was in the past, you pretty much know, and during a region tournament, like, hey, the number 4 team is gonna play the number 1 team from this area. So you can really start strategizing ahead of time, getting film on teams, trying to prepare. But now it's, with the power ranking, it's a lot of unknown. You might not know who you're gonna face until the week before. I know volleyball didn't find out until the day before. So it takes away from strategizing a little bit. But I mean, we're just excited about the season. With this young group, we just have a lot of young guys that's ready to prove themselves, and we are starting off because we expecting our football team to make a deep run, because Coach Kegler, he does a really good job with the football team. I mean, to me, he's a genius when it comes to the football. So even with flag football, I try to pick his brain. And it's like every day is a learning experience, just learning information from him. But I mean, so we're gonna start off missing a lot of players, because we do have about 10 guys that play football. But again, there's no excuses. Like, we just have to figure it out and try to find a way to win.
And your first official home game is going to be November the 22nd against Banneker. Banneker, I got that right. Okay, from College Park, on the road against Farrell over in Atlanta. By the way, Anthony Edwards played there. I just wanted to throw that out there. Central Macon, former region opponent, on the road against Troup County. You start region play December the 2nd against Jordan.
Yes,
but I'm actually. We're going to be penciling facing Calvary Christian. I know you're playing them in a scrimmage, but in the Muscogee County Christmas tournament, which is going to be a different format this year. And then facing some of the games. Just to note, Shaw, Carver, January the 11th, taking on Carver, and then have to face Carver on January the 31st. You know that Georgia Alabama Sports Live is going to try to be there. Coach, one thing I noticed, first of all, Kyle Sandy, who is a guru when it comes to high school basketball, Sandy Spell, which is really the only rankings I go by. They got you ranked 5th. I really like the ranking. I think it's going to be, when it's all said and done, you and Carver are going to be the top teams. But I do think that Shaw has improved. Hardaway is going to be rebuilding, especially Coach Kendall Mills losing all 12 seniors. And, Columbus has got a new coach, Terrence Hill. He won a state title with Jordan back in 2007. I can't wait for this region. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
like you mentioned, Sumter County is one of those teams that you don't want to sleep on. All these schools in Columbus are facing off against each other, and all of a sudden Sumter County might be coming out of nowhere. Remember, they went to the state championship in 2019 and lost to Carver, so they got a very good basketball team.
No, Sumter has a really good team, and of course I try to keep up with the transfers and everything best I can just to prepare. But Sumter has they have really good guards, but they have a kid coming in from Baldwin. He's originally from Americas, and he's really good. So Sumter is going to be very competitive. They're well coached as well.
Well, Coach, good luck this season. I know soccer season will be here before you know it, and you'll get ready for soccer. You'll have to balance out basketball and soccer, but we wish you all the best of luck in flag football as the season's coming to an end, and just good luck for this upcoming basketball season, and looking forward to having you back on.
Oh, no, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, that is the head boys basketball coach, girls flag football coach, and soccer coach of Spencer. It is Coach Quantavius Allen. He is also the assistant athletic director of the Spencer Green Wave. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Muscogee County Coaches Show. Don't forget, next week, we're going to have office hours, real life of an athletics director. That will be back on the air. Thank you for tuning in, and we